Hello and welcome back to Does It Go Hard, the show where I review movies, video games, and sometimes TV shows. I have been dying to talk about this film for a while now. I was originally going to watch it, I believe it was last weekend, but I got sick and I couldn't go to the movies because of that. But finally, now that I'm feeling better, I was able to go to the cinemas and finally watch the long-awaited DC film, The Batman. Directed by Matt Reeves, also starring Robert Pattinson as the titular character Batman or Bruce Wayne. This tells the story of a much younger Batman / Bruce Wayne, who has only been doing this for 2 years and is still very much unexperienced of being a vigilante for Gotham. Crime is going up instead of going down, and he is starting to question himself if what he's doing is even making a good impact on the whole city. I was very much behind this film when it first got announced. I know Ben Affleck was supposed to get his own Batman movie, but then that whole thing got cancelled, and as well as other films for other DC characters were also in the making, but also got cancelled. There was a Green Lantern movie, I think, and a Cyborg film. I think originally Cyborg was going to be in the Flash movie, but that whole thing got scrapped. I don't know, it's been a mess, the DC universe, for a while. And the moment they announced this Batman movie directed by Matt Reeves, starring Robert Pattinson as the titular character Batman, I was both excited and skeptical. I was skeptical mainly because the casting to me of Robert Pattinson being Batman was kinda interesting. I wasn't hating it, I wasn't against it, I was just curious on how this was going to work, because I just never really saw Robert Pattinson as somebody that would necessarily fit the Batman role. I can see him fitting the Bruce Wayne role, definitely, but Batman? That's a much harder task in my opinion, and I was just kind of more than reluctant to the idea, more curious of how they were going to pull off Robert Pattinson as Batman, which is probably the number one thing you have to get right when you're making a Batman film. But once the first trailer came out during DC Fandom, I believe, I was completely on board for this film. I loved the aesthetic, I loved what they did with Gotham and with all the rogues gallery of Batman, how they interpreted different characters like Catwoman and the Penguin as well as some other characters. I just really loved the idea that this is the story of a Batman that is still trying to figure out how to do things in Gotham, how he should be dealing with these thugs and with these crime lords that are getting a little bit out of hand in the city. The trailer also completely convinced me that Robert Pattinson could be not only a good Batman, but could be one of the best Batman in the whole trifecta of Batman films. And now that the film has come out, now that I have seen it, finally, after having so many things on the way from me preventing me from watching it, getting sick and also getting busy with other personal things in my life, I was finally able to watch it at the cinemas with some friends actually, and I'll just say, we had a blast, we had a lot of fun. Holy shit, I freaking loved this film. I absolutely loved it. Loved every second of it. Oh my god, there are so many things I want to talk about this film, but mainly I want to get to the number one thing, which is I do not want to hear any more shit about Robert Pattinson being a bad actor. I love Robert Pattinson. I think he's become an amazing actor over the past few years, and the Batman is only a much bigger proof that he has grown in his craft. So I don't want to hear any more bullshit that the Twilight actor. Stop it. I am done listening to your stupid ass comments. Robert Pattinson has come a long way from those Twilight films, and his talent has only improved since then. So shut the fuck up, you. But other than that, I just want to say yes, Robert Pattinson definitely is amazing as the Batman. Also as Bruce Wayne. This is actually a complaint that I've actually read from a lot of reviews saying that there is no real disconnect between the Batman character and the Bruce Wayne character. They're kind of both similar in terms of their personalities and attitude. And I can see the criticism where it comes from, but I think it's done very well here in this film. And I think it's more of a positive here than a negative. I am very, very much happy that Robert Pattinson just nailed the role of both the Batman and Bruce Wayne. He does an amazing job playing both characters, and let me tell you, I think this is probably one of the most badass Batman. No, not only in terms of his looks, but of his fighting style. You can definitely see that his fighting style is still kind of rough, it's still very broody, but that's one of the things that I love about it, because he's still kind of unprofessional in some way, because he's still kind of rough in a lot of places. I think it's cool that you get to see this more brutal, this more angry, this more wild side of Batman that really we don't see much of in any other of the films, and even in other material we don't even see that much of. But one of the biggest things that I love about the film is that this is a detective film noir film from beginning to end. This film really does the character of Batman justice, even way back to its roots, to the original DC Comics, where Batman, quite literally, yes, was a detective. And I love that this film, again, is a full-on detective film throughout the entire film. And of course, you're still gonna get your huge action-packed scenes, your big action sequences that you're going to love, definitely. But I love that the film really dedicated itself to take the detective part of Batman serious, and as a major factor of not only the character, but the entire story of the film. And the other actors are amazing. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, I just absolutely loved her. I thought she was amazing in the film. She is definitely now my favorite Catwoman, like, ever. And this comes from somebody that has a soft spot for Michelle Pfeiffer as that character. But my god, Michelle Pfeiffer can be sometimes annoying as Catwoman, I'm sorry. Colin Farrell as the Penguin. Oh my god. This is one of the most insane transformations for an actor that I've seen, where literally I cannot recognize a single feature from him in the film. He's completely unrecognizable as the Penguin. Like, literally, like, look at this. This is Colin Farrell, and this is the Penguin. Colin Farrell, the Penguin. Colin Farrell, the Penguin. Like, dude, how? Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon, or to be Commissioner Gordon, because this is a time where Gordon is still not the commissioner of Gotham City, but still, he does amazing as Gordon. I thought he did an amazing performance to his character, and I think it's probably as well. Like, I know it's going to sound really weird, but a lot of the versions of these characters that we've obviously seen before in other Batman films and in other Batman media, I think these are my favorite interpretation of these characters, because they still feel comic booky to a certain degree, but they also feel realistic. They feel real. Even though they still have those comic book like tweaks in them, they still feel grounded in real life, where I can definitely see how these people could exist in our world, you know? And again, Jeffrey Wright, again, amazing actor. He's done amazing work before as well, but he definitely does an amazing job as the character of Gordon, and I'm just very excited to see him as the future Commissioner Gordon later on in this Batman franchise. And of course, Paul Dano, or Dano, however you say his name, I'm sorry. But Paul Dano as the Riddler, he was fantastic. This is another one that people like complain about, or not complain, but have their criticisms of, but I really love this character actually. The thing that people say is that he kind of starts off as one character and halfway through changes personality, And I honestly didn't see that. I honestly just saw him as, you know, with the same personality throughout the entire film. Because a lot of people say that he's kind of more serious at the beginning or in the first half, and then the second half he kind of becomes more crazy. But I think he was already crazy since the first half, so it's like, to me, that criticism doesn't really make that much sense. But at the same time, I can kind of see what people are saying. But personally, I loved him. I loved Paul Dano's performance as the Riddler. I thought he was very, very intense, very scary. Like, if I can tell you something right now, is that the first scene of the film is absolutely fucking terrifying. It is scary. Watching in the theater, I literally did like a little jump of like, holy fuck, what the like, seriously, if you watch the film, you know what I'm talking about. I can say you this is not much of a spoiler, but I'm gonna say it anyway. The film quite literally starts with the Riddler brutally murdering somebody at the beginning, and the movie's PG-13, by the way. It's not R-rated, so it's not like you're gonna see a lot of guts and blood and gore everywhere, which again, the film doesn't really need it. But even with a PG-13 rating, this film gets away with a lot of stuff, okay? Which is impressive for a PG-13 film. I was like, this is quite literally bordering around an R rating. But the fact that they do such a great balance on making it PG-13 and kind of almost crossing the line to R-rated is brilliant. I think it's amazing. But again, other than that, the film, it really treats the Riddler again like a real threat. The Riddler is scary. He is intimidating, which is one of my worries, because we know that the Riddler is not really that much of a scary or intimidating villain in the Rogues Gallery of Batman, but this film really made the Riddler an actual threat, which I really appreciated, and it's only better by Paul Dano's performance. His performance of the character was just amazing. I loved it. I loved every second of it. And there are so many more actors in this film that just do an amazing job. Again, Andy Serkis as Alfred, I thought he was great. Even though he doesn't have much to do in the film, I still loved his inclusion. There are so many more actors that I honestly don't want to ruin, because they are in the film and they do such a great job in it. And I just kind of I don't want to say much about them, because I want you guys to be surprised. I really want you guys to watch this film and just have a blast, just like I did. And just be mesmerized by the entire thing, like I was. Just in general, everybody does a great job in the film. There's not a single bad performance here. Everybody does amazing. They all did 100% with so much passion. And I was just completely in love with this film, with its performances. Man, I just can't stop thinking about this movie, man. The cinematography of the film is amazing. The way it's directed, it's so brilliantly done. This already is one of my favorite films of the year, okay? This film just really impressed me in every aspect. The directing, the filmmaking perspective, the writing, the acting, everything about it is amazing. And oh my god, the score of the film goes so fucking hard. I have not stopped listening to any of the tracks of the score. Michael Giacchino, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing his name wrong. He's an amazing composer. He did the score to The Incredibles. He also did recently as well the score to Spider-Man No Way Home. He's just amazingly talented. He's an incredible composer, and I just loved the soundtrack. And again, the filmmaking, the cinematography is beautiful. It has, again, this is probably the most beautiful Gotham has looked like in years, man. And most of the time, we are watching Gotham at night, rainy, and yet it's still beautiful looking. You can still see that Gotham has a lot of life, even when most of the time it's during the night or when it's rainy. The directing, again, brilliantly done. Matt Reeves is one of my favorite directors, definitely. He is just amazing. And you can clearly see that he loves Batman. You can clearly see that he definitely wanted to respect the legacy of this character and do something different that has not been done before with the Batman character, or at least explore parts of that character that we haven't really seen explored before in any of the other Batman films. And that's something that I definitely want to give praise to Matt Reeves for actually caring that much and wanting to tell this side of Batman that we don't really see that much of in films or even in TV. I think it's great that he decided to take this, again, this detective slash film noir perspective to Batman that has been part of Batman since the beginning of his creation. And it was just great to see that he cared that much to make this something different and unique instead of just kind of following through the same line that every other Batman kind of follows. The action sequences as well are fucking brutal, man. Batman really is going for the kill most of the time. Like, I feel like of course he definitely doesn't kill people, but man, there was times where I was really questioning myself, is this guy really killing people or not? Again, I'm not somebody that necessarily cares if Batman kills or not, but at the same time, if there was a Batman that could actually make sense that would kill people, it would be this one. But I just love the way that he fights. I just love that really raw style of fighting that he has. Again, like, it's in the trailers, but it's that scene where he just is beating the absolute fucking shit out of this thug. It's so fucking brutal, man. And that scene in general, like, in its entirety, is amazing. There's the obvious Batmobile, like, sequence with the Penguin. And let me just tell you, I love the Batmobile, okay? And the car chase scene that is in this film is just, oh my god, it is definitely my favorite part of the entire movie, man. And the more the release of the film was actually approaching, I actually started to get kind of nervous because I started to realize something. We do get a little bit too much of Batman sometimes, okay? Even when it's not necessarily Batman films, we still get too much Batman sometimes. We either get video games, we get shows, we get more comics, we get more, just in general, a shitload of too much Batman sometimes. And we can even still see that today now. Like, of course, you have the Christopher Nolan movies, which I'm just gonna say right out the bat, and I don't care what people say. I definitely think this is better than the Christopher Nolan trilogy, and that's saying a lot because I love The Dark Knight. But The Dark Knight has its things that I just find kind of ridiculous in not a fun way, where I feel that the Batman resolves those things for me. As well, we had Ben Affleck as Batman, and I'm sorry, but I'm also not a huge fan of him as Batman. I thought he was probably the lamest version of the character. I thought he was boring as hell. That he was just, I just felt that he didn't fit, neither feel like Batman. And of course, now we know that Michael Keaton's Batman is coming back for the Flash film, which is like, man, even when it's not Batman's movie, we are still getting Batman. And it's just getting very, very tiresome sometimes to just constantly see Batman all the time. But this film proved to me that just because we get a lot of Batman in other forms of medium, I still think that this film is very much special because at least this is an actual Batman film. And it focuses solely on Batman and the characters that Batman is related to, other than, well, here's Superman as well, and here's Wonder Woman as well, and here's this other bullshit that I don't care about. Like, I'm here to watch a Batman movie, okay? Yeah, man, I just don't know what else to say, man. I just loved the film. I thought it was amazing. It was everything I wanted it to be, and I'm just happy that I came out of it you know, even though the film is very much dark and it's a darker version of the character, I still came out of the film feeling hopeful. Yeah, man. I can just tell you right now, The Batman definitely goes hard. But anyways, what did you think of The Batman? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you think it's the best Batman film, or do you think it's the worst Batman film? Leave it down in the comments and tell me everything you thought about it. I really want to hear what you guys think about it. Again, like I said, I loved every second of it. I was just completely enthralled throughout the entire film, and I'm gonna be honest, I can't wait to watch it again. I loved it so much that I'm probably gonna buy this day one when it comes out in 4K, because it was just amazing, okay? But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video again, and if you want to see more videos like this, consider subscribing. It will really help out the channel a lot if you want to see more content like this. But anyways, I hope you had a great day, great afternoon, great night, whatever. I hope you had fun, and see you on the next one. Take care.